Listen, man, I don't know what you're saying, man. Queen is the best album of all time, or best band of all time. Way better than Rush. More people will agree with me than you.
Look, all I'm saying is, Queen definitely has their mark in history. They did some epic works. They did some great things. Bicycle.
Huh?
Yeah, they did some Bicycle, right? About riding bicycles. They did
Yeah,
that.
something like that. But hold that thought for a second, man. What you doing over here? Excuse me.
Hold on.
You're not going to be part of the conversation. What are you doing over here?
Conducting business.
You're conducting business when we're supposed to be doing a video segment.
These words
Whoever you are on the phone, he'll call you back.
I'll call you back.
I already told him that already. Get off the phone. Thank you.
Bye.
Let's get back to talking about this.
Look,
Oh, my bad.
we're
We're supposed to be doing a
Yeah.
video. So I'm sorry if I
this is what we're here for.
My bad. I'm here.
Welcome.
Continue.
Thank you. Welcome for another segment of Words with the World. Today, we are interviewing Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So this will be pretty exciting. We are going to find out the inner workings, the depths of their minds, the bizarre things that happen that are beyond the mortal mind, but can be handled in today's segment. So without further ado, I present Alpha and Omega, people you already know, but do you know them? We are going to find out.
I don't know if they're ready.
They might be ready.
They might be ready.
I think they're ready.
All right.
Sure, let's find out. In the beginnings, in the dawn of man, what was your first step on your musical quest?
Man, we definitely had some humble beginnings. I mean, that's the thing that got me and Jay to be connected in the first place is our love for music. So once we decided that we wanted to translate that love to music to actually start creating music, yeah, we really didn't have equipment like that or means to get equipment like that, so we kind of had to use the bare bone.
We didn't have
stuff.
we didn't have no money, so
Well, I wasn't going to tell him all that,
I'm
but
just-
you know,
you know,
whatever.
equalizer of
I guess we
man.
could be honest about it.
You know, this is the people we talking to. We didn't have the money. You know, we were young. You know, music was our love, but we didn't have our money.
True. So I'm just using this as an example. You know what I mean? But when we were starting out, we had a keyboard that was similar to this, really small. It was a really basic Casio keyboard. Few keys on there. Really not too much you could do on there other than create some tones and some rhythms and stuff. And then to take it a step further, here you go. You hold that. There you go. And then I'll hold this. Yes. This is a real thing right here, guys. You're not.
You started
you're not
the base of percussion.
You're not
right
actually
here.
seeing things. These are actual pots that we got, and you know we actually use wooden spoons, not plastic tipped ones. But you get the gist of it. You see my man with the finger tapping, and me over here just doing this. Yeah, this is our humble beginnings of knocking down some pots and pans just to create some bass lines, use tables, whatever we could get our hands on that we could pound on. This was our style right here, along with the keyboard. We had this really cool boom box with the setup to put the mic in, the input for the mic, and then we were able to put cassette tapes, put them on the slots, go ahead and record. Did it sound all amazing like that? No, but you know, it basically got the job done.
That was your beginning.
Yeah,
Starting
I
the
mean
flame.
that's as humble as we can
Very
get.
humble.
That was match getting struck, step one. I love it.
Yeah.
Because you started with percussion, the beginning of everything, the alpha. You started with percussion and you built from there. You didn't go all crazy, high note and squealing away like a bunch of weirdos. No, you did it properly.
Well,
Kudos.
I mean, you did look a little bit weird though.
It happens. No one's gonna fault you for it.
More him.
No,
than me, or whatever.
this is awesome. In fact, you can start doing that stuff. There's a lot of people now going out there just collecting sounds, and then they'll put them all together, and they're putting it and making the music out of that, just various sounds and adding that to percussion and making a rhythm line out of it. So you guys were well ahead of the curve in many ways. So that was which brought you on your quest. So how long now have you guys been on your journey? So how long have you been doing this?
I mean, we've been best friends, brothers for about 25 years. So I would say that would be pretty much our journey. You know, ins and outs. We had some gaps in between because of just life, dealing with different things that we couldn't get to do music and produce music. But for the most part, you know, it's been pretty consistent throughout the years. We done put out a lot of albums, a lot of different singles.
How many albums do you have out?
Well, at my peak, at our peak, when I was really recording a lot, I put out probably about 13 or 14 albums. You know, I would average about 3 albums or close to 3 albums within a year. You know, our sessions were really good because Jay just had this knack for knowing what sound I needed as I did my vocals. It's just, I would spit like a few bars and he instantly would know, like, I know how he's going to deliver it, the nuances, the cadences. I know what type of melody is going to match that and bring it out to the open. So it wasn't really, it's just this natural vibe that we always had where it's like he could start something and I just knew how to finish it. You know what I mean? He was just great on the keys, making the melodies. I was good with putting bass lines, adding some layers of synths, maybe add some textures with different effects. And, you know, it didn't take us much to like start putting this stuff together. So, yeah.
Good. Good. So you already had that working relationship. You already knew each other's minds kind of before you started going on this. So it definitely, you already had that background together that a lot of people miss. I mean, there's so many bands out there that have come together to make an album, and then after that they end up battling, or groups that get together to make an album because they don't have anything other than that uniting them. There's nothing really, they don't have that beforehand. So there's kind of, but that's awesome that you guys are feeding off each other because you have that strength where you can pull from, that togetherness. That's cool. So if you could somehow open a door and see yourselves 25 years ago, what would you say to yourselves back then now? What would be the words of wisdom that you would give them? Alpha, go. You see yourself, young Alpha. Oh, hey, what's doing? Whoa, that dude looks like me. Go.
The younger me, I would probably just tell them to make better choices. And, you know,
I mean, that's an overarching one that we could all
You know.
say, but is there something that you would say to yourself back then that would give you a step up on your journey?
Back then, the younger Alpha, I would probably tell him to take keyboard or piano lessons so he can have a better way of producing more music.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell him, to learn that craft better.
Okay, so start younger. I got you, because you're just going to learn that much more along your way. I think that's great for anybody.
So the 25 year, 25 then, and then you look at it 25 years later.
Yeah.
I would probably, the keyboard, the piano, I would be probably among the greats.
Oh, yeah. Going at it like that.
So, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Cocky much?
Whoa, he isn't that. The man's just laying out his truth.
Just saying,
Nah, he's the man. He's the man when it comes to keys.
All right.
So I guess
Same question, go.
Same question. What I would tell my younger self when it comes to this music, that's pretty simple. Start small. You know, I'm the type of thinker where once I got my mind to something, I'm all in. You know, a lot of times I liken myself to like an octopus. I got a whole bunch of arms and I got them all reaching out to so many different things. And I feel like back then I probably would have been better at my craft or have a more better process of bettering my craft if I didn't put so much on myself. You know, back then I was trying to write rhymes, write lyrics, write songs, but at the same time I'm trying to learn how to produce, I'm trying to learn how to do the engineering side, with mixing, mastering, and
So
all that
you
kind
were
of stuff.
taking it all in at one shot.
I'm taking it all in because
You were like, hey, I got
you know,
nobody
originally
else I
back
can learn.
then, during our time period, everybody was into instrumentals.
Yeah.
You know, they just get these different tape decks or CDs and whatnot, and have already laid out with industry beats, and people were just using them. We wanted to do everything authentic, you know, so that's why I went ahead and just built a studio, put the equipment in there. We're just going to do everything from scratch. The thing about it is, I think I bit more than what I could chew, because going along with what he was saying, it would have been nice to have a little bit of schooling, or at least somebody who was technically sound to kind of show us the ropes, instead of just like, I mean, the journey, it's all about the journey and enjoying it. It was fun learning, but I just feel like, especially early on, we could have been a lot more better if we were willing to be open-minded and listen to other people.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking everything on the chin.
Okay. That was a. So when you say be more open-minded instead of taking it on the chin, like, I mean, obviously you got feedback and criticism. Then, like, what was some of the biggest criticism that you've gotten so far that maybe not warranted, maybe is warranted? What was, I mean, because everyone's going to give their bits, right? And we all know that there's a jerk out there that's just going to lay it out as you're terrible no matter what you're doing. But at the same time, there's got to be enough people saying, hey, that's good, but you could do this more, or anything. Criticism. How did you take it? What did you do with it? How?
I know early on for me, especially like, I was doing like the vocals and just doing songs and stuff like that, which is the fact that your stuff sound too preachy. You know, there wasn't enough to like something I could bump to. You're using good wordplay. I like your concepts, but it just sounds like you're preaching to me on this song instead of trying to entertain me. You know, and I didn't want to go the route that everybody else was doing, because I wasn't really living my life accordingly to how other people were doing it. I wanted to be authentic to myself. So what does that mean? Back then, I got married young, and I had a family young. Went ahead and got a house when I was young. I was structured and sound. So it didn't make no sense for me to talk about my earlier days when I used to be out in the streets and doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing. You know, I can't talk in terms of, oh, I'll be in a club all the time and I'll be doing this and I'm talking to this chick. I'm already settled down, so it doesn't make no sense for me to start rapping about stuff like that, because then people are going to expose me, you know what I mean? And even when it comes to just our overall production, when it comes to music and just making music, it's just like, oh, come on, man, like, where's the drum patterns? I need a hard bass line. I need to hear the thump. Everything's really melodic with you guys, but it's like, but that was our style, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the knock was there. It just wasn't your type of knock that you were looking for.
You want the hard boom bang that's bumped out the 15-inch sub in the back of a rotten out Honda. I got you.
We did what worked for us,
Yeah.
not work for other people, and that's what the problem was. They wanted us to do what they wanted to hear. We're doing what we want to hear. Simple.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing music for yourself, not for other people.
Yes, your art is
The icing on the cake or the cherry on top of the pie is what? If people do enjoy your music. But at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. That's why you develop this passion, because this is what you want to do and this is what you want to get into. You know what I mean? So early on, yeah, we ain't had the greatest of fans, you know what I mean? But, you know, over time, once we got better at our craft, you know, people started coming around and started digging what we were doing.
All right. So then, what's one of the greatest challenges you've had to overcome? Like, how did you approach it? Like, what was something? I shouldn't say greatest, but like, what's a challenge that really stands out at you that you were like, man, I'm gonna beat my head against this to get around it. This is gonna get done, but this is hard. What was that in your career thus far? Alf, go if you want, or if you need time to stew, feel free to kick it back.
I think my greatest challenge was to prove to myself that I can do this. You know, here we're a partnership. You know, we're best friends. We got the love for the same thing. So it's like we had to push each other So it's just about, for me, just pushing myself and keeping myself where I needed to be, you know, because I got to prove to my partner that I'm in it, you know, that this is what I want to do. So that was a challenge. Like, I got to keep leveling up for my partner.
Yeah, you got to
know,
keep
like,
your comfort zone behind you and just keep pushing into that.
Yeah. And working with him, you know, he'll make you do stuff that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's gonna push you out of your zone.
He's gonna throw in these curveballs and be like, yo, I need you to do this, you know, and I'm like, I don't know how, but you know, I'm gonna do it though.
Yeah. You're gonna figure this out. You're gonna grab onto something and wrestle it down, and then that's
he's not the type of person you want to say no to.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Because it found out.
Yeah, he give you that look, and then it's, you know, it's all over. Well, I learned to just shut my mouth and just go ahead and do it. Just jump right on in and make it happen. But that's my part.
Right on, man. It's it's proving it to yourself and that you can, because you're worthy. I've heard you. You're doing it. You're laying it down. You got it. We got it where it's going. I'm enjoying everything you got your fingers in.
That's not me at all.
Well, all right. Omega, let me hear it. How did you, what was your biggest challenge? Like, how did you take that challenge and be like, I got this. I mean, this is rough. It's punched me in the face, but I got this.
I'm going to piggyback off of him. You know, like, we have this healthy, I guess you could say healthy competition with each other. You know, but we don't go into it with the whole demeanor of we're trying to one-up each other. You know what I mean? We're both working toward a common goal. You know what I mean? But I think the challenge was just keeping up with him. You know, it's like minds think alike. You know what I mean? Like, he's so naturally gifted when it comes to music. And even though I have a love for music, somebody can have a passion for something or somewhat of an intelligence or understanding towards something, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're qualified to do that. You know what I mean? Nor does it mean that you actually have the ability. You know what I mean? So the passion was there, but the ability, in my opinion, didn't match him because of how natural he is, the way he knows what sounds good, what instruments go good together, his ability to get on any type of keys and just rock out and make any kind of melody. I'm not on that level. I'm still not on that level. You know what I mean? Like, I can only do a few keys at a time, do a few pads at a time. This guy could just go on and just create a outstanding melody and just create beautiful music, beautiful beats. Whereas me is more of a process. You know what I mean? So the challenge is just really, in turn, I'm piggybacking off of him, is just to keep up with him. Just his ability, natural ability of putting things together. You know, I'm a little bit more technically sound, so I get to the nitty gritty of things. And sometimes it doesn't bode good for you when you're trying to make something good. Sometimes I've learned from him is like simple is more. So.
And that kind of leads me into my next question here, is that obviously you guys have put out some albums, a lot. And then, I mean, there's other people that are trying to do the same thing. Like, what would you say, because you guys also record other artists as well, what would you say to other artists or other people that are looking to produce an album? Like, what would you say, like, hey, before you step in that booth or that studio, what's the advice that you should give to that person?
What advice we could give for doing music?
But before they're already in the music. Before that person goes into the studio, they're like, hey, I got money in hand. I'm gonna go to a studio and throw it down. What should that person already be set in their head before they go in?
Right off rip, they gotta create an identity for themselves to understand what type of artist that you want to be. Mm-hmm. If you're just sticking to being producing, you need to create that identity on what type of music that you want to produce, and not just go with what the trends are or what everybody else is doing. In turn, you need to start creating an outline for yourself or some type of way where you can structure your process on how you make music as well. You know, we done ran into a lot of people who just come down here and they're just a hot mess. You know, they just want to do this, do a little bit of this, sprinkle a little bit here, and they feel like we're just going to whip this together and boom, we got something magical, and it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? Because there's people want to be entertained, but they want to hear some structure when it comes to your music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're all over the place with your music, it's cool to be a little abstract and add little nuances to your music just to set you apart from everybody else. But at the end of the day, they need to see or, hear the identity. Because a lot of people who listen to your music may not even know you personally. So you got to put a little bit of yourself in there as well as like, so they can kind of peep out a little bit of your personality or what type of person you are. And I don't think a lot of people go with that. Their mindset is, I'm just going to show up, and I think something magical is just going to happen on its own. Boom, boop, 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 everything's good to go. And it's not like that. In a perfect world, it would be like that.
All right. So like, with that going, you guys have obviously worked with a lot of other people. So Alpha, like, who is your favorite person that you worked with? You don't have to mention name, but like, why was that person your favorite person to work with?
Well, I would have to say my partner is my favorite person to work with.
Excluding your partner, because that's a given. That's a given. Let's be honest. Like, everyone knows my favorite partner. So,
because it's easier, you know, when I work with him versus other people, because normally he already has his idea.
yeah.
He already knows what he want to do and how it sounds and stuff like that. So it's more easier with him.
So what you're saying, a person that already has something already going.
It's easier.
Yeah, that way you're not spending all the time coaching the person
Right.
to get what you want out of it or whatever. You're like, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this if you want me to step in, that kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah.
My partner's giving me these looks. So.
He's going the safe route, or maybe he's sucking up. I don't know. But I appreciate that, though. I do. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No, I got you.
There's been people down here who just don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
They want us to do all the thinking for them. But you're coming to us
Yeah.
wanting to do this. That's not how it should work.
So you like working with people then that already have their whole background, their structure, their set going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, because it does take away, if you spend your time trying to coach somebody to get the idea out of them, or at least put it together where you can work with it, you just burn a lot of time. And then in all reality, that person that you're trying to work with may have lost their original idea. And then now both of y'all are unhappy. You just waste a lot of time and that person didn't see the end result they wanted to see. So, I mean, that happens sometimes.
Yep.
So if you were to, let's say someone said, hey, I need you to write the definition of art, and we're about to send it off to Webster so he can put it in his dictionary. If that's still a real thing anymore, I don't know. But if someone said, what is the definition of art? What would your response be?
Damn, that's a hella question right there.
I probably would ask Google.
Fair.
I guess you're implying like what would be like our personal,
No, I mean
our personal.
sure. Like, what would you describe as art? What does art mean to you, as far as a definition or descriptive?
I think art to me is the way I view the world, the way I see the world around me, that surrounds me. You take a lot of inspiration for what you go through in life and how you go about your everyday living. You know, I can't speak for Jay, but that's how I approach music. You know, I'm taking different elements of what I go through on an everyday basis and then try to apply that into my music. I know it's probably like you guys are out there like, well, I don't know if I could see all that because I can understand maybe like your lyrics. If you're trying to put together a song or comprise a song, I can see that. But I can't really see that vision when it comes to music, like actually producing it. But it's pretty much the same thing when you're doing music. Like you're trying to invoke emotions and trying to get some type of reaction out of people, and that's what you go through on an everyday basis, right? Every week, if you're going to work or whatever you're doing with your life, you're going through a bunch of emotions. There's times when you're happy, you're sad, you're depressed, you just want to punch the world in the face, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So why not try to project that with the music that you're trying to produce? You know what I mean? And I think that brings more out of you, more soul out of you. Goes back to what I was saying of just putting a little bit more of yourself, your personality in there. And the easiest way to get inspiration is just to take it from what you see every day and what you deal with every day. You know, you don't want to make producing music this overly complex, formulated type of situation, because it's just making music.
Yeah.
You're not a rocket scientist. You know what I mean? So just make it simpler and produce music the way you see things in life, and just kind of bring that out as much as you can. Do it.
Wow. I would say that's a solid answer.
Yeah.
My bad.
That was a good answer right there.
You know, I ain't want to speak for you. You know what I mean? But
So, what is, obviously you've been at this now for 25 years, and you've definitely used different forms of art medium. What, other than music, what other forms of art medium do you guys enjoy that inspires you to go back to the music? I mean, do you like do sculptures, doing miniatures, doing that kinds of stuff? Does that like pull you back to ideas, or does one feed the other?
I would say yeah. I mean, most of you guys know we're part of Olympian Multimedia, so I know pretty much a lot of y'all already checked out the site. You know what we do. Everything digital when it comes to videography, photography, graphic design, obviously the music. So I think they all entail with each other because it's your way of being creative. Duh, music and photos is not the same medium, but you're still being creative. You're still trying to bring life or a little bit of yourself into there. You know, you're trying to tell a story through your music. You can tell a story through the photos, and vice versa.
Definitely.
You can tell a story through a video.
Yeah.
So, them little things that you're doing when we're doing other projects, I would say, yeah, we try to invoke that a little bit into like the music. Plus, a lot of the content that we put out, especially with videos, entail music.
Right.
You know, because music is the ultimate background to a video. You know, you can put nice little backdrops and do all kinds of different things with the scenery and just the way you outline and put together a video. But a lot of times when you watch a movie, right, or you play a game, a video game, or something of that nature, you know what I mean? The music is really what brings out.
An emotion.
Right.
Helps the
So
idea.
you're all in, let's say we're talking about a movie or a TV show. You're all in to the episode or what you're watching. But you're even more in tune with it once that music comes in. And if somebody produced the right piece of music for that scene, it's a game changer.
Oh, for sure.
Because now you're just like, yo, this is just invoking that emotion that you're talking about.
Like something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Something
Type
about
of
to
music.
happen. Maybe a couple of tears come down your eye because you're just like, man, this is a really deep moment. You know what I mean? That, you know, like the emotions is overtaking me a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Like watching the movie Braveheart. I mean, if you took the battle scene and took out the music, you just see a bunch of half-naked Scotsmen running across the field. You're like, what's going on here? Like, these dudes are nuts. But once you put in that thrumming drums and the music behind it, that's when it invokes that patriotic moment of, wow, those dudes they're battling for their country. Like, look at that. That is happening. Wow. You know what I mean? And that's bringing out that emotion. Or, you know, I mean, many of other national anthems, they do use certain tones to invoke that emotion, to bring it in. And that definitely helps out. It ties one emotion to another.
Yeah.
So then, like I said, you guys have been at this for a while. So what does success look like? What do you know, like, I'm doing it. This is my level. I've made it. This is where I want to be. This is what I envisioned. But now I've hit it, though, and I'm still, obviously, you ain't quitting. Because I know you guys. You guys got the drive. Unfortunately, it's never ending. But what does success look like to you? How do you know that, like, I did this. I'm on top. This is me.
I mean, got to take the little blessings and look at them as victories for yourself. What I mean by that is, who would have ever thought us producing music and making music, now we got it on multiple platforms where people can enjoy it from the comfort of their cell phone or their tablet or whatever, you know what I mean, or their computer. You know, we ain't never envisioned that for ourselves, you know what I mean, to see ourselves like that. I know a lot of you guys know that we're published authors. You know, who would have ever thought that we actually have books out there, let alone on a big company like Amazon,
Right.
and people can purchase them books and enjoy your books and enjoy your art form. So, are we pulling numbers like some other people are? No, but we're clearly working toward getting there, you know what I mean? But you got to enjoy the moment. Again, them small blessings, they might be small, but it's a huge leap toward us reaching our ultimate goal. And just the fact that people, like I said, can enjoy our music, they can go to it at any time. I mean, that's just awesome, man. We got a website, people can interact with our website, check out different things. We got a YouTube channel with different video series on there. I mean, neither one of us imagined that ever, that we would ever get to that point. You know what I mean? So that in regards to, like, of course, I want everybody to love Alpha Omega. You know what I mean? I want everybody to love me.
Yeah.
I do. I want you all to love us. We can bask in the ambience. But the thing is,
Just roll around
if
it.
we can at least get one person to be into what we're doing and buy into what we're doing, that's a beautiful thing to make, because that's one more than we had before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that can always be our building block to work on and reach out to more people and push us further to put out better content. You know what I mean? Like, case in point, this is a little off-putting, we're all subject just a little bit, but like with the books, you know, I had people telling me I'm the worst author they ever came across, and this is the worst book I ever read. You know what I mean? But I also had people who came to me and they're crying because they're just like, I felt like you wrote this just for me.
Wow.
And I was at my darkest point, and I really needed to hear this, just to understand, just to know that somebody else out here went through what I went through. You know what I mean? So those are the moments that you hold on close to your heart. And the same thing with our music. We had plenty of people tell us, like, yo, you guys are garbage. I can't tell what y'all are. Y'all hip hop, you're pop, if you're this and you're that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
A lot of
Yeah.
people criticize and just say a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, just because clutter nonsense. You know, you just got to put that stuff to the side and just use that as fuel. Maybe they're onto something with the criticism. They could have said it a little bit better or whatever, but they may be onto something, and then I'll push you a little further to be like, okay, well, maybe we could make some adjustments here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. You know what I mean? We're having these small blessings. We're moving in the right direction. You keep pushing yourself. We got each other to push each other. You know what I mean? We have a great team at Olympian. Try to definitely keep it like family oriented. And, you know, we're going to get there. You know, we see the vision. We see the big picture.
All right.
We're going to get there.
What does success look like to you?
I like his answer. You know, like you said, it's the small things. Rewind back maybe 10 years ago, who would have, you know, talking about being on YouTube,
Yes.
having books on Amazon.
Oh, I mean,
never
our
thought
generation, we didn't know this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
our generation looks at it and still is like, wow, you're on TV, you're on the internet, you must be that famous guy.
So it's like when I look up, used to look stuff up on YouTube, you know, it's cool. You see all the different artists and stuff like that. Now when I look stuff up, now I see us, and I'm like, I still feel like, wow, we on YouTube. You know? Like I can look on
You're
Amazon.
Googleable.
I can look on Amazon and find all his books. You know, like it's like, wow, I
Well, you
personally know somebody.
Yeah.
You know who's an author. You know that I can just find it. You know,
That's cool.
sometimes I'm still like, wow. You know,
This is really happening.
yeah.
And you know, when I say that too, you hit the nail on the coffin. Like, you know, back then when we were starting out, the technology is a lot more advanced than it was back then. You know what I mean? But I also was saying in reference to it's just the fact that we made the most of our opportunity. Because a lot of people talk as if they got a bunch of ideas, but they never put anything into fruition. They're not getting the ball rolling. They're not getting things done. So I was talking more in terms on that, just the fact of how proud I am of us, that we didn't just speak about like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this music, we're gonna put this music out there.
You
And then
legitimately
we're
doing
just
it.
sitting on a bunch of stuff and never did
We're
nothing with
making
it.
it happen.
The fact that we can move on and we got massive amount of albums out, whole bunch of different singles, different all kinds of video content, just digital content in general. You know, that's what I was referring to the most, is just the fact that I'm glad that we made the most of our opportunity.
Yeah, and you're still rolling.
And
you're
we're still rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't stop. All right, so that leads me to my final question then. If someone was like, wanted to check you all out, like someone who's never gotten into you guys yet, what 2 songs that you would say, Alpha Omega, check us out, go. What's 2 of the ones you're like, these, you gotta hear these 2. Yeah. What's ones that you're like, the 2 you're like, this is what I put the work in, this is what I'm, yeah.
Oh man, this is real stumpy.
I mean, you got a lot out there, it's
We
like,
have a lot.
yeah,
you know,
so like, what's one that you're like, man, I put a lot of work into this one, I really had,
I mean, we put a lot of work in all of them. You know what I mean?
oh, for sure.
Like,
So like, let's say there's a,
I can't really think of a song, like a particular track. I would say I'll just go with like albums. You know what I mean? So I feel like our 2 best albums that we ever put out, that was like the most complete, is, if you haven't checked out already, our 3rd album is called oh man, I can't even think of the name. I know it's got Soundwave in the title. I'm sorry guys, man, my memory's getting a little bit shot.
Alpha, if you need to jump in, save your brother.
What's the name of the 3rd album? Soundwave.
Soundwave, Chrome? Soundwave?
Help us out. It's right on the wall. Somebody on the wall, tell us that. See it right there? See it right there? You see the colors? That one. What does it say at the bottom? Do us a favor
It's
for us.
just in
old
Soundwave.
Soundwave.
Alright, we'll just go with that. That's not the full title, you know what I mean? But that one and the latest project that we put out, Outer Limits.
Outer Limits, I would definitely say, like,
I feel like
I
it's the
enjoyed that
most
one.
it's the most
I like it.
complete out of, I mean, I love everything we've done.
I like them all.
But that's, to me, are the most complete, because it has a nice variety of different music. It covers multiple genres. I think it was very thought-provoking. I think we hit the nail on the coffin, especially with our latest one, where we created these soundscapes. Going back to what we were talking about, creating this like story with the music.
Storyline.
I felt like we hit the nail on the coffin with that. Of course, when we look at our stuff, could have been better. Yeah, we're always looking to be better. If you always feel like you're the best and you're at the peak of your game, then you got yourself a serious problem. Because there's always a way for you to improve and get
Never
better.
stop. Like the drummer from Rush, not the Queen. He was number 1, right? Neil Peart. But what did he do? He continued training. He went into jazz musicians. He was training with them. Like, and you guys are doing it. You're continuing on. You're not resting on your laurels. You're not just going in circles. You're constantly grabbing for the next rung on that ladder. And it may not even be the same ladder you're climbing. And that's what I'm enjoying, what I'm seeing, and I'm looking forward to the future to see what comes out of y'all next.
Nice.
It's the light. Leave me alone.
Nice.
So thank y'all. Words of the World, this was a great time. I enjoyed the heck out of this. I got to know you guys just that much more. I got to see you all react to some interesting things. I got to see we got some giggles. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on the show, Barbassian. You know,
Barbassian.
you blessing us with your presence. I was glad that you was able to leave Barbacia for a little bit. Come chill and vibe with us common folk over
Yeah,
here.
we common folk.
Yeah. So we appreciate
Nonsense.
you coming. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was great, and yeah, we're gonna continue doing big things. You know what I mean? And
Definitely.
look out for it. You know what I mean? So I guess we're at the conclusion of our segment. You go back to your phone call, and we're gonna go back to talking about this.
So, like I was saying, dude, like I appreciate them. I really do. It's just one song, it just jumps to another song